Okay, so we start with now the Java security, architecture security. The first architecture security is what? Now the class loader determine how and when the applet will use the class in running Java environment. It means what? जेमती कि हमें previous class रे पढ़ते that हमें जब C programming रे हमें just जब पढ़िबा include करिबा गोटे header file. So that header file is called as the stdio. जदि हमें stdio use करूचे that ultimately कहाँ होगा ना हमरा scanf printf and scanf ये दीटा load होचे. Suppose मु जदि तुमको गोटे tags देबी that you have to only print a document मते केवल गोटे document टा print करिवार अछि and I am not accepting the input from user. तो खाली जदि मते print करिवार अछि ताले मोर printf ही दरकार scanf मोर किछि दरकार नै किंतु आज I have written stdio जेहेतु मु stdio लिखुची ऑटोमेटिक कौन हबो ना मोर printf और scanf दीटा लोड हे जिवो किंतु दीटा मोर कोनोसी आवश्यकता ही नाही. The class loader determine how and when applet will use classes in Java in a running Java environment. तो Java environment रे केते बेले को मॉड्यूल टा कॉल हबो class loader सेटा डिसाइड करियो. तो सेति पई कोन हुए हमर प्रोग्राम रो जो डेप्थ रहे बा जो प्रोग्राम रो माने कंपाइलेशन कला परे जो एक्सटेंड हे जाय जो मेमोरी टा एक्सटेंड हे जाय क्लास लोडर रे हमर एक्सटेंड हुए नै. जावा कोन करे केवल चूज करिवो जो क्लास टा तार दरकार से क्लास टा से कॉल करिवो अननेसेसरी क्लास एठी कॉल करिवो नाही. So one is another is what sandbox model. The sandbox model is implemented in the Java applet container such as web browser. The sandbox model determines the limitation of the Java applet that they can only access the resources of the host computer, cannot access the file on the local computer. आगुरु कोन होतला ना जेतबेले कंप्यूटर गुडा का सब नेटवर्क के थिला सब सिस्टम जेतबेले नेटवर्क रे होतला one client can access the information from the server can access or interact with the client but one client is not interacting with the another client गोटे client आ गोटे client सहित interaction करि पारु नथिला. So here what happened, it is like giving you flexibility that it created two paths. One path it is connecting to the server, in another path it connecting to the client. So that what happened, it is well managed. So समस्तन पई path अलगा हे गला. That is because of the sandbox model. So now एबे जतरा network traffic टा अधिक होजी, for each request one sandbox model is created. Suppose I am giving a request to the Facebook is create a sandbox model for me. So I am interacting with the sandbox model. माने सपोज मु जतरा फेसबुक को कनेक्ट करिवि फेसबुक कोन करिवो मते गोटे कार्बन कॉपी दे देबो भाई तू आ भीतर काम कर मु मोर काम करिवि काम कर सला परे जते बेले मोर काम सरी गला अगेन मु जते बेले सबमिट मारुची अगेन से कोन करिवो ना से कनेक्शन टा एस्टैब्लिश हो. तो मन रख जते बेले हां आमे जते बेले कनेक्शन जते बेले आमे करूचे ओके तो सेटा तमे मार्क करिवो से जो कनेक्शन गुडा को जो गुडा को अछि you can say like सबु बेले हमर फेसबुक टा हम सहित कनेक्टेड हे कि न थाए. फेसबुक टा केवल हम सहित कनेक्टेड को समय रे हबो ना जते बेले हमें कोनोसी सबमिशन करूचे. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज द वर्ड सैंडबॉक्स मॉडल. द सैंडबॉक्स मॉडल हमको हेल्प करे डिस्टिंग्विश करिया पय क्लाइंट एंड सर्वर पय माने क्लाइंट एंड सर्वर पय हमें तर रिक्वेस्ट पठाइबा से हमको पर्टिकुलर को रिक्वेस्ट टा पय हमें कनेक्ट करिबा कोटा डिस्कनेक्ट करिबा को क्लाइंट को कनेक्ट करिबा कि सर्वर को कनेक्ट करिबा से डिस्टिंग्विश कर दिए बाय यूजिंग ऑफ सैंडबॉक्स मॉडल. गुड मिनट. So next I move to another two model is present, compiler level security. So compiler level security is saying that Java prevent the error that arise due to the improper memory use, reducing the compile time error. Okay, तो आमे जेतबे प्रोग्राम लिखिबा, सपोज गोटे एग्जांपल नै जाउ एठी. सपोज आमे जेतबे प्रोग्राम लिखुचे जदि मु किछि मल्टीप्लिकेशन किंबा एडिशन करिवि, मु किछि वेरिएबल एठी डिफाइन करूची. Suppose I define int, it is for defining a variable. I will discuss later. Int a, b, and result. So three variable I define. Suppose I mention here res is equals to a by b. That means it is divide the number and giving a result. मु दीटा number को divide कली मते result आसीबो. जदि मोर a रा value हैला 10, b रा value हैला 3, that means 10 by 3 मोर result आसीबो 3.33. 3.33 more result आसीबो. But 3.33 cannot be stored in the result because मोटी int define करचे, int कौन करिवो ना केवल whole number एठी नबो. ताले मोर ए जो 0.33 value टा loss हे गला. तो जावा कौन करिवो ना ए जो point value टा अछि ताको से secure करिवो बा से ensure करिवो जे ए value टा भी मोर loss न हो. Okay, so for not making loss, so we are using this value 0.33. माने हमें at runtime कौन करिबा गोटे डाटा टाइप को हमें अदर डाटा टाइप को कन्वर्ट करि परिबा. आकु कहिबा हमें टाइप कास्टिंग. सो टाइप कास्टिंग रे कोन हबो ना at runtime we can convert one data type to the another data type. Okay, so eta को जबो टाइप कास्टिंग. It is another security level we define. So Java prevent the error that arise due to the improper memory uses, reducing the compile time error. Typecasting in the Java ensure that there is no data loss in the Java result or output of a Java code. So typecasting in Java ensure that there is no data loss in the result or output. So in the result your data is not lost. मुझे कहतले 0.33 value टा मोर मिस हे जिवो, एठी से जिंसटा मिस हबो नाही. बुझियला गिरिजा, अमित, उपांशु?
आज्ञा सर.
Yes, sir.
तापर रहला बाइट कोड वेरीफायर. ओके, सो जावा जेतबे रन हुए एटा दीटा फेजेस रे रन हबो. फर्स्ट कोन हबो हमें जावा कोड टा को डॉट जावा रे स्टोर करबा, तापर सेटा कंपाइलेशन हबो. कंपाइलेशन हैला पर से बाइट कोड रे कन्वर्ट हबो, बाइट कोड रो मशीन कोड रे कन्वर्ट हबो. तीनटा फेजेस हैला, सोर्स कोड रो बाइट कोड रो मशीन कोड. अच्छा, एठी कोन हबो ना जेतबे मु कन्वर्ट करी बाइट कोड इज नथिंग बट 0 and 1 फॉर्मेट दैट कंप्यूटर कैन अंडरस्टैंड. बट वी आर नॉट अंडरस्टैंडिंग 0 and 1 फॉर्मेट. हमको रिजल्ट दरकार. हमको जदि 0 and 1 फॉर्मेट रे शो करिवो, सो वी कैन नॉट अंडरस्टैंड इट. सो दैट ए जो बाइट कोड को अगेन मशीन कोड रे कन्वर्ट करिवो. सो दीटा फेजेस ना आसे. तो एठी बाइट कोड वेरीफायर रे कोन आसीबो ना, इट एंश्योर दैट द बाइट कोड डजंट violate access restrictions such as read and write operation and verify that the bytecode doesn't force pointer. So bytecode कोनोसी pointer रे काम माने pointer is what point जेमते कि C++ program रे हमें pointer use करतले for the memory management. So here pointer concept is removed. माने हमें तला bytecode टा generate हबो, एठी कोनोसी memory related किछि problem एठी हबो नै. The bytecode is verified.
Sir, एठी automatic memory management होउछि सर.
एठी ऑटोमेटिक मेमोरी मैनेजमेंट हबो. एठी बाइट कोड रो माने हमें जदी कहबा ने पॉइंटर इंप्लीमेंट करिवा बाइट कोड रे, एठी पॉइंटर इंप्लीमेंट करिवार कोनसी दरकार ही नै. मेमोरी ऑटोमेटिक मैनेजमेंट बुझला.
आज्ञा.
So byte code is verified into the two phases. In the first phase the verifier checks the structure of the dot class file. So it's saying you that according to the JVM specification your structure is correctly written or not. It is checking by the dot class file. In second level phase occur when the bytecode is run. The bytecode verifier checks the validity of the class, variable, method used in a program. So in the second level phase occurs when the bytecode is run. The bytecode verifier checks the validity of the classes. माने class टा कोठी use होगा, okay, variable टा कोठी use होगा, and in which way you can access, you have the authority or not, कि आपको access कर परिवा. That authority we can give in the second level phase. First level phase we give the verifier checks the structure of the dot class file, In second level, the bytecode is run and the verifier checks the validity of the class, variable and function. Code use of code function use of code variable use of it define our bytecode verifier. Okay, so these are the 4 type of security level architecture we are using. Next is what? Now garbage collection. Always in our home we have lot of garbage. Okay, so like when you are cutting the vegetables, the vegetable is having a garbage, and in daily basis we have some kind of garbage. So we collect this garbage and put in the dustbin. Okay, so in the next day we throw it in outside, or we give to the any municipality corporation people. Okay, so in program also there is some kind of garbage value is also there. Garbage, how it is coming means your work is over, then there is some garbage value is present. So in your computer also there is a garbage value is present, and in your mobile phone there is a thrash file is present. It is not required, but it is taking a memory. So when the program stops referencing an object and it is not required anymore and can be deleted, the space that is used by the object is released for the use by the another object. So when you are defining a variable means it is a location where you have to store the value. So once your work is over, then you have to clear that memory so that another value is assigned. Suppose I am booking for a seat for the cinema hall, and I book and sit over there. So after my cinema hall after my movie time is over, so there is no need to sit over there. So I have to left that place so that other timing person will sit over there. So variable is just like that. So garbage collection is doing that work. So when your work is finished, the value that is taken by the variable, you have to free the automatically. So when you free, then another value is assigned over there. So garbage collection is the process that is used to free the memory of the object that are no longer in use. When the program stops referencing an object and it is not required anymore, that can be deleted. The space that is used by the object is released for the use by the another object. So the space that is created, মানে সে যে ভ্যালুটা যেটা স্টোর হইতলা আগরু, সে যে মেমোরিটা নেইতলা সেটা অটোমেটিক্যালি রিলিজ হইছিলো. So garbage collection feature implies that the new objects are created and all on-reference objects are deallocated from the memory. So it creates the new object and it allocates the new memory on it. So garbage collection feature implies that the new objects are created and all on-reference objects are deallocated from the memory. So that is called the garbage collection. This garbage collection is implemented in the programming by using of constructor and destructor concept. Okay, so in programming part we have to discuss. So in the constructor and destructor, we are implementing the garbage collection. Understood this one? Garbage collection?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
So this garbage collection is implemented in the 3 ways. One is a reference counting collector, tracing collector, another is compacting collector. So garbage collection is implemented in the 3 part: a reference counting collector, tracing collector, and compacting collector. So by using of 3 approach, we're using garbage collection. Data stored in the memory of the computer can be of many types. So when you store the data, okay, so the data is of many types. Java is strictly type language, which means that Java gives importance to type checking. Okay, so Java is a strictly type language, which means that Java gives importance to the type checking. Expression and variable in the Java can be of different type. Okay, so there is a primitive data type, a reference data type, and another is abstract data type. First of all, before defining a data type, you have to define a variable. Variable is what? Now variable is a memory location where you have to store the value. So when you have a container, variable is what? Container. In a container you have to store the value. But in the container, which type of value you have to store? Okay, like bottle. Bottle is a container, but in that bottle you cannot take the vegetable. Mu bottle le जाएंगे बाजार को जाएंगे मांगी भी भाई मते परिवा दियो से हसियो. आ मु बैग नहीं की जदी परिवा बैग नहीं की जदी कोई भी पेट्रोल दियो से भी हसियो. Both are container. But for taking the item, आमे item wise आमर container टा भी different होगा. परिवा हेले परिवा बैग जीवो, आ पानी आने में कहले तेल आने में कहले the bottle जीवो. Data type is also like that. Data type define the type of data that you have to store in a variable. माने मो को type रो value टा variable ले store करबे, मो एटी define करबे. So there are three various data type we are using. One is primitive data type, a reference data type, another is abstract data type. Primitive data type, a reference data type, another is abstract data type. So three category of data type we are using: primitive, a reference, and abstract. So primitive data type is what? Now it is a built-in data type in the Java is called as the primitive data type. মানে যেটা already Java or dictionary রে define হয়েছে সেটা হচ্ছে primitive. Already it is defined. Okay, so built-in data type means already when the Java is created, there is some kind of built-in data type is present. So there are 8 primitive data type is present in the Java, and this 8 data type is categorized in the 4 way. One is integer type, one is floating point type, one is Boolean type, another is character type. So 4 category of data type is there: integer type, floating point type, Boolean type, and character type. So when we're talking about the integer type, it can store the whole number. Integer type can store the whole number. Floating point type can store the fractional number. Boolean type can store only the true and false value. Character type can store symbol such as letter and number. First of all, integer can store the whole number. Floating point can store the fractional number. Boolean type can store the true or false value. Character type can store the symbol such as letter and number. So there are 4 type of data type is present. Okay, so integer hele kebol whole number rakhibo, floating hele fractional value, boolean hele true and false, character hele only letter it is stored. Then how it is divided? Integer re amara 4 data type rahibo. Gota rahibo byte rahibo, short rahibo, int rahibo, long rahibo. Byte, short, int, long, and the size is 1 byte, 2 byte, 4 byte, 8 byte. 1 byte, 2 byte, 4 byte, and 8 byte. It is a size of the integer: byte, short, int, long, 1 byte, 2 byte, 4 byte, 8 byte. Default value of all integer is 0. মানে আমি যদি এটি কোনসি ভ্যালু স্টোর ন করিবা, ডিফল্ট ভ্যালু এটি 0 হই যাব. ফর ফ্লোটিং পয়েন্ট টাইপ, float and double. Okay, 4 byte, 8 byte. So for floating point, float and double. Float র সাইজ হচ্ছে 4 byte, 8 byte. Default value মানে আমি যদি কোনসি ভ্যালু ইনিশিয়ালাইজেশন ন করিবা, কিছু ভ্যালু স্টোর ন করিবা, ফ্লোটিং রে স্টোর হবো 0.0, 0.0. Similar way for Boolean we are storing 1 bit. In 1 bit we are storing the default value is false. মানে আমি যদি কোনসি ভ্যালু স্টোর ন করিবা, default value false store হবো. For character is 2 byte. If you are not storing any value, default value null is stored. So these are the different data types that we are using. বুঝিলা এই পার্টটা?
আজ্ঞা স্যার।
Yes, sir.
তারপরে রইলা রেফারেন্স টাইপ কোন না, ইট ডাজন্ট কন্টেইন দ্য ভ্যালু অফ ইটস ওন। সে নিজর কোনসি ভ্যালু রখেনি। ইট কন্টেইন দ্য আড্রেস হোয়ার ইয়োর ভ্যালু ইজ স্টোর। মোর ভ্যালুটা কোটি স্টোর হউছি সেটি তার আড্রেস রাখিব। ইট ডাজন্ট কন্টেইন দ্য ভ্যালু অফ ইটস ওন, ইট কন্টেইন দ্য আড্রেস হোয়ার ইয়োর ভ্যালু ইজ স্টোর। যেমতি কি আমি নেই পারিবা array. So array is a one primitive array is one reference data type is present. Array and class object is called as the reference data type. Suppose here we define a array. Okay, then we start here. So this is called the reference wise. If you call it is 0, it is 1, it is 2, it is 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it is called the reference or address. So here we store the value. In 0, suppose I store here suppose here I store here 10, I store here 20, I store here 30, I store here 40. Suppose I want to access the 40, then I call the reference is 3. Means in one memory location we store the value. It doesn't contain the value of its own. It contains the address where your value is stored. So it is a reference type. Array is a reference type. Then when you are talking about class and object, it is called it is also called as the reference type. So reference type doesn't contain the value of its own. It contains the address where your value is stored. Similar way, we have the abstract data type. Abstract data type is what? It doesn't abstract data type is derived from the primitive data type. Suppose if you take an example, if I define here character NA, then I am able to store only one letter. If I want to store a word, mate gote word jodi store kariya padibo tale mu peti kon karibi na array ro size debi. Suppose mu size deli 5. So when I store 5, then I am able to store here HELLO, hello. So I am giving a size hello, HELLO, hello. Then here what happened when I store the hello, then if I want to store more, then I am not able to store. Mane mu adhika store kari paribini as because I am given a size of 5. Then if I want to store less, jodi mo kichi less store koruchi eti mate kete hela 4 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 chatta hela to chatta jetale value rohuchi tale kon hobo mor gote memory eti loss hei gala mane chatta rakle se au gote memory jota khali hei chi ta pai se mate memory ta ko free kariboni eta occupied hei jibo jente ki mu gote hotel booking kali mu kahi 100 plate 100 plates pe order deli jodi mor guest no asile tale bi mate payment kariyaku padibo. So it's just like that. Okay, so it is occupied, it is not free. So that what happened, we have to use a string data type. The string is a abstract data type. So as much as letter you can store. Here there is no need to give any kind of size. Mate eti size daba darkar nahi. Mu jette letter chahiye eti dei paribi. Eti kichi size daba darkar nahi. So here string is called as the abstract data type. Okay, so this is called as the abstract data type. Character NA 5. So I'm giving a size 5, but I store the 4 value. But here I store the 5 value. So abstract data type, it includes the data type derived from the primitive data type. It have more function and than the primitive data type. The string is an abstract data type that store the letter, digit, character such as any other symbol like slash, bracket, dollar, hash. Okay, so these are the data type we're using. Bujela, reference data type and abstract data type.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The keywords available in the Java, the keywords are the reserved word for a language which express the language feature. Keyword cannot be used as a variable. जेतले हमें variable define करिवा, function define करिवा, तो keywords टा हमें use करिवा नहीं. Keywords cannot be used to name the variable, constant or classes. So Java is a case sensitive language. Okay, so that keywords should be written in lowercase only. The keyword with some and all some letter in the uppercase can be treated as a variable, but that should be avoided. Okay, if you write here, so public is one keyword. Okay, so public is one keyword. So here, public is one keyword. So you cannot give a variable name or any function name as public. तो मुई जदि public नारे किसी variable दोची आपको मु capital ले pass करी परिवी एमती कले ठीक होगा, but avoid it. Okay, don't give any variable name, function name which is related to any kind of keyword. The keyword cannot be used to name a variable, constant or classes. Java is a case sensitive language and keywords should be written in lower cases only. The keyword with some letter in the uppercase can be treated as a variable name, but that should be avoided. The Java ta hoji case sensitive. Suppose I am system lekhibar achi, system is a keyword, so it is a correct one. Suppose mujhe it is small le lekhi devi system, then it is a incorrect. So Java is a case sensitive. Any programming language also case sensitive, but in database it is not case sensitive. Database re case sensitive nuhe. केवल हमर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज रहउची केस सेंसिटिव जदि किछि हमें छोट बड़ लिखि दबा अपर केस एंड लोअर केसेस जदि हमें लिखुचे सो इट शोज एन एरर. Now comes to the variable. Variable is the name which refers to the memory location where the value is stored. You can take an example when you book for a ticket for a movie. Okay, so there is a mention A1, F1, A8, F8. That means what? F row re ama 8 number seat re basiba. So variable is also like that. When you define a variable name, it having a memory space where you have to store the value. You can assign the different type of value in a variable during the program execution. Java allocate the memory to each variable that you use in your program. Each variable that is used in a program must be declared first. First variable टाको हमको declare करियाको पड़िबो with a data type. Okay, so first you define the variable with the data type. माने first हमें एटी define करिबा. First हमें define करिबा data type. Then variable name. Suppose मते define करियार अछि int norm. एटा हम define करी. Okay, तो एटा हमरा variable and data type एमती define करा हो. So naming convention माने हमें variable टा जेतला define करिवा केमती name दबा. The naming convention for declaring a variable in Java, the name of the variable should be meaningful. Suppose मु गोटे लोकर age store करिवा को चाहूची तो मु age पई मु data type define करि परिबी कोन
Integer.
int name लिखि परिबी. So name is also correct, but name is not relevant to store the age. तब मु age store करिवार अछि तो मते आराम से मु जो variable name टा define करिवि as normally जेमते define करियार अछि as a name हिसाब रे मु store करिवि, so that anybody can understand this variable is defined for the storing the age. Okay, the name should be meaningful, it's short and without any embedded space. Suppose I want to store the student name, string student space name. So space name cannot be what use. If you require a space, so here you have to use underscore. Underscore is used for giving any space. Variable name should be meaningful. Variable name must be begin with underscore. जेतले variable टा में start करिबा जदि हमको किछि symbol दरकार हुए हमें underscore लिखि परिबा नले हमें dollar use करि परिबा dollar ए दिटा use करि परिबा. We cannot use any other kind of symbol. We cannot write like numbers. We cannot write the number. Variable name should not be start with a digit. But a variable ta digit to start hobane. Variable name should not contain any embedded white space. Variable name should not consist of a keyword. Variable ta keyword kichi define hoban jemte ki public ho, this keyword ho, eta use hobane. Variable name in the Java is a case sensitive. जदि मु लिखली int age लिखोची मु एठी लिखि परिबेनी capital age equals to 35 एमती डिफाइन करी होबनी. जदि मोर स्मॉलर अछि तले मु ए स्मॉलर रे डिफाइन करिवि जदि कैपिटल अछि तो कैपिटल रे डिफाइन करिवि. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज व्हाट एटा में कहि परिबा जे इट इज अ वन ऑफ डिक्लेयरिंग ए वेरिएबल माने केस सेंसिटिव एटा रहउची कोनोसी सिंबल यूज करि परिबा नाही, एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस यूज करि परिबा नाही. द वेरिएबल शुड नॉट कंसिस्ट ऑफ ए कीवर्ड. Variable name in the Java is a case sensitive. Okay, so it is always case sensitive, so that जो वे रे हमें डिफाइन करिचे से प्रॉपर वे रे हमें एठी इनिशियलाइजेशन भी करियो. तो एटा थिला Java रो फीचर एंड हाउ टू डिफाइन द वेरिएबल एंड फंक्शन. सो टुमारो अगेन हमें स्टार्ट करबा हाउ टू राइट द फर्स्ट प्रोग्राम. हमें केमती प्रोग्राम टा लिखिबा फास्ट प्रोग्राम केमती लिखिबा आ सबुर कीवर्ड्स कोन रहउची एटा मो डिफाइन करिवे ओके तो काली एटा मो पढेबी
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
चलो